Okay. Okay, so let me just go ahead and go into this video, you guys. Um, Now, the reason why I want to do this video is because y'all see the position that I'm in. So, for people who might be new to watching my videos, I want to give y'all a little update of what's really going on. This is me and my son in my apartment at 1308 Houston Street in Conroe, Texas. Now, what's very specific about this apartment is you see me on the streets right now, okay? So I want y'all to put the pieces together of how a mother ended up on the streets. And God said I got a case concerning my apartment. Now, me and my son was living in this apartment just fine. Those pictures back there are covering up holes in the wall that his father was punching all in the walls when he was a newborn. And I called the police and they arrested him on a probation violation. So his father is Caucasian, and there was some issues that I didn't know about where people was trying to stage stuff to have the boy taken from me while his dad was in prison, simply because he was a young white man in prison for acting foolish with his black baby mama. So I was being followed. His mother, Cynthia O'Vera, had been calling people to follow me, and that was making it dangerous for me to drive in my car. They even had a white man try to run me off the road with the baby in the car, causing a white woman to slam into me. And Cynthia tried to come into court and tried to make it seem like I had crashed the car or whatever. The car was still drivable. I had received a citation. They tried to put me in the wrong, but the truth was I was being chased all over the community, even by black women and black men that was trying to just be nosy and want to hurt the black woman who. But CPS never did take him from me. CPS never did come to my house and ask me any questions. I asked them if I was under investigation and that I would be willing to cooperate, and they said no. They started doing a lot of kind of like KKK stuff to me in the house, um, while saying that I was not under investigation. And I had reported it to the police department. I reported it to several different establishments to try to get me and the boy somewhere safe, away from him and his family. His dad was writing me while he was in prison and saying that he wouldn't hurt us and that he didn't have nothing to do with the people that was harassing me and my son inside of the house. I stayed in my apartment for 3 years. Some of these pictures was taken at other people's house, but the majority of the pictures that I took was at my house. This was actually at Vanessa's house where my sister was staying when I took him to visit his cousin. So his father was about to get out of prison, and I had told Vanessa and my sister, I was like, when I visited, I said, I don't know if I want to let his dad back into the house because he be abusing me. And they was like, you shouldn't be with him. So I told his mother, Cynthia O'Vera, that I wasn't sure if I wanted to let her son Austin Manor back in my home. And we had an agreement that he wouldn't come in the house abusing me. So when he got out of prison September 18th. No, I'm sorry, that's the day I was arrested. He got out of prison July 10th, 2018, and he started abusing me within the first week of him being released from prison. And I was calling the police and trying to get people to help, telling friends, telling his family, telling everybody that he was abusing me. And then he started slamming my baby down, like punching my baby and knocking him down on his head and stuff like that inside of the house. And it caused me to have to run out of the house with my baby. And he was fleeing from the police and coming back. So it caused me to have to run out of my home screaming with my son in my arms, and nobody would help us outside. And then I went to this restaurant and asked the man to help us who was working in the restaurant, and asked the man to call 911. So the man did call 911, and my baby daddy came into the restaurant attacking me and attacking my son. So he was being violent with the baby as well, and the man was trying to get him to stop, and I was trying to get him to stop, and that's where I hurt my baby daddy, because I pretty much just snapped. It's one thing when you abusing me. I don't like nobody to be hitting on me, but when it gets to the point where you abusing my son, I snapped, because you not finna be abusing my baby. So they took me in the jail, and they had me back there trying to lie about the evidence to my case and trying to say that he was not attacking me or the baby. And then they just tried to lie about who my baby daddy was in general, because he's white. And I was back there pregnant, and they was lying about that too. So, as y'all can see, I was with my child. I was not no damn street walker. I wasn't selling my body, none of those things. And when I was in the jail cell, I kept seeing in the spirit everybody coming to me trying to attack me and cover up the evidence to my case. And I asked God, I was like, God, take me to the district attorney who is over my case so that I could talk to her. And when I went to sleep, I ended up in my apartment in the spirit, and there was this black woman who was in my apartment, and she worked for the state. There was a bunch of white women who was on my case in the courtroom, and I was telling these white women when they was charging me, and I said to the white women, I said in the court, I said, ma'am, I said, he just got out of prison and he's attacking me. I said, I done had to run up out of my home screaming with my baby in my arms, and he just got out of prison for assault. And I said, so ain't no y'all finna sit up here and charge me and lie about why I hurt him, and he was attacking me and my child. And then the white women in the court were trying to tell me to be quiet, shush, shush, shush. They gonna look up his prison information, and they still kept taking me into the back of the jail. And the police was trying to murder me because they had lied on the police report and did not tell the truth about what actually took place, despite my statement and what the witness said. And there were several 911 calls from me and other people who had witnessed stuff. So in the vision, I seen this black woman. She was like another district attorney, but I never seen her. She was in my apartment, looking around my apartment, trying to find stuff to say about me, to try to make the white people feel like they was gonna get away with lying on my case. And I went up to the black DA and I slammed her into the wall, and I started choking her. And I said, even because she was trying to say I was a prostitute because somebody had taken advantage of me in my time of need. And I told the lady, I said, even the most beautiful women in the world have been forced to do that. And the black woman was trying to say I was ugly and I had hair on my face and I was this and I was that. And God was like, okay, even if you claim she ugly and you want to talk about her, even the most beautiful women in the world have had to be taken advantage of. So what point is you trying to make of trying to call this woman a prostitute and say all these things about her when y'all know that's not even what this is all about? She was in her home with her child and he was attacking her and her baby. So why is y'all trying to do a smear campaign and leave her out on the streets? So they never gave me the medical care for me and my baby, but they had my family and everybody on board with not helping me while I was back there. So they was trying to murder me and keep the evidence of my case from coming out. But my investigator, Jim McDougal, went and interviewed the witness from the restaurant, and the man told him, he was like, he was knocking her down all into the booth in the restaurant, and he was like, I wasn't afraid of Andrea hurting me because he was being stupid with her baby and I was trying to help them. But they didn't want to release that information. So basically, when I got out of the jail, they set it up for me to not have anywhere to go so that I couldn't get my son back, because on the scene at the restaurant, the police came and arrested me, and they called Austin's mother, the man who was abusing me, my child father. They called his mother, Cynthia O'Vera, to come to the scene to get my son from the scene. And then while I was in jail, everybody knew that I wasn't guilty, and they set it up to do some litigation abuse to take my son from me and give my son to Cynthia O'Vera. and they didn't have a right to do that, and they would have had to give him back to me if I would have had a place to stay. But they set it up to have jealous friends and jealous family members not help me so that I couldn't get my boy back. And so since I've been out of the jail, people have been purposely refusing to help us and making us have to go from place to place so that I couldn't get my son back. And that's what the whole smear campaign is about, as far as leaving me out of the shelters and things like that. Because when I went to the shelters out here, they already had got wind that Andrea Jones is coming to Atlanta, Georgia, and she's trying to get into shelters. But y'all all know the agenda to keep her out on the streets so that the United States government can try to win a case against me as far as giving my son away and denying me the medical care. So when I told the women at the shelter that they had done this to me in my pregnancy, they really didn't even really want to let me inside the shelter to begin with. And they staged stuff to have me put out of the shelter so that they could try to help the United States government do a smear campaign on me and make it seem like my son, his name is Melbourne, to make it seem like Melbourne's mother is a street walker. And of course, y'all see my situation when I'm outside and I don't have anywhere to go, and people done stole my identification and things like that to try to keep me from working and keep me from getting into a shelter. They over here trying to do a smear campaign on me to where every day I have to go with a strange man and things like that, and so that they could say that Melbourne's mother is unfit and she's all of these things. And this is why I've been putting out the information about why I'm suing about my apartment and everything, because they know that I had my own place and I'm not in control of family members that want to be hateful and see something bad happen to you. It's already bad enough that I was abused by my family growing up, and then for me to have spent all those years by myself with my child and have gone into a domestic violence situation, and you see family members that want to see something bad happen to you, they wouldn't offer me to have somewhere to stay for 6 months to get on my feet so that I can get my boy back. You know, the longest that my family member was letting me stay there was probably 3 weeks, and that my family member had stated to me, "Oh, I didn't know you was gonna get your son back," and I thought that was so evil and hateful, because I was like, why wouldn't I get my son back if somebody was abusing me and my baby in my home and caused me to run from my home with my child? Then why would you be so wicked to say you didn't know I was gonna get my child back? Because they wanted to see me get convicted, and it was simply out of jealousy, because everybody knew that he was abusing me, but they was jealous because I was pregnant by a white man. Because I had a baby by a white man, I had my own place, I had my own car, and it just brought a lot of jealousy from black women who felt like I was a kept woman and felt like, I had it better than them. And then I have to deal with the racism of the white women who have a problem with me having a baby by a white man and don't want him to take any responsibility. The state don't want to help us in any kind of way as far as the benefits that me and my child qualify for. So it's like everybody gets to just pretty much skip out on their responsibilities as far as me and my son having rights in this country, to where the state won't help us. And they got him, my son, with this white woman who, she's making it seem like she, forking over all her money for my son. But the truth is, it's like, you don't even need to have my son. And God said me and my son qualify for HUD. The Lord was back there with me fighting them, and he revealed that they were in a coven.